Governor Maura Healey is proposing legislation that would curb social media use for minors. She wants a time restriction, age verification, a 2 hour a day limit, and an end to infinite scrolling. Here's some of her proposals.
Social media accounts will be required to have default settings that will limit platform use to 2 hours a day. They'll deactivate addictive features like infinite scrolling, autoplay.
So meanwhile, while Healy is trying to legislate addiction, others are actually just feeding them. We've got people like influencers like Nick Fuentes, who's a far-right hate monger who says things like, Hitler was cool. He's amassing a fortune, collecting about $900,000 from 900,000, yeah, from 11,000 of his followers in just a year. But this has really been happening for years because what we all remember Alex Jones from InfoWars. He was the guy who claimed that the Newtown mass murder didn't happen. He made as much as $165 million in 3 years. I get a kick out of the fact that the Onion has now purchased InfoWars. But you know, starting with you, Lila, you follow this much more intricately than I do. Just briefly on the Healy legislation. Do you think that's going to go anywhere, or is it a government overreach, and is it not realistic? It's like taking cigarettes, away from kids. You can't buy them, but you can still smoke them.
So that's a good point. But this isn't just Massachusetts. Connecticut enacted legislation like this in 2023, and they've been followed by, I actually wrote it down, Florida, Georgia, Mississippi, Maryland, Minnesota, Ohio, Tennessee, Arkansas, Louisiana, Utah, and California. Ohio, Arkansas, Utah, and I'm sorry, Ohio, Arkansas, and California. It's the legislation's kind of pending. It's been blocked by the court there. Florida already bans kids under the age of 14 from being on social media at all, requires consent from parents
Mm.
for 14 and 15-year-olds, and then there are restrictions for 16-year-olds. So it may be government overreach, but Massachusetts isn't the only government that's doing that.
Mm.
A lot of what she's proposing are really common sense things that
Yeah,
parents should be able to control,
right.
right? You should be able to control how much time your kid can spend. You should be able to control what they see. We have blocks on cable boxes, right? You can block certain channels. You should be able to do that
Mhm.
elsewhere. Um, I think the influencers thing's a separate but related issue. There have always been influencers for various things, whether it's get ready with me in the morning or kids who are now spending hundreds of dollars at Sephora for products to prevent aging, which at age 9 you don't need. But the amplification of hate,
Mhm.
unfortunately, I think that's just a human issue. And I think if you block it in one way, it'll crop up somewhere else. Whether you're leafleting and having flyers, or whether you're encouraging people to, fund your GoFundMe after you've said a racial, horrible racial slur at a little kid, which also has happened.
Mm.
So that's it's tough to not amplify the hate and also restrict the
Mhm.
kids. The hate mongers aren't always aimed at the kids either. They're aimed at the adults who have money.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting, Dan, because wasn't it Meta that several years ago, said they were going to legislate against lying and not put things that were untrue on their various feeds and stuff. But I mean, like, we've been seeing this for a couple decades now. I mean, like, people getting rich off of spreading this kind of garbage, but you can't really legislate it. I mean, that's why there is sort of a connection here, like legislating what you can read or what can you consume. But what about some of the stuff that has no legislation?
Well, I mean, some of this can be legislated, and some of Governor Healy's proposals, I think, make some sense. I think that the infinite scroll and the autoplay videos are a problem. An even bigger problem is the aggressive use of algorithms to
Hmm.
keep you glued to that digital device. And the way that the algorithms keep you glued to that digital device is to keep showing you material that makes you angry and upset. But one of the big problems with her legislation is the age limit.
Mhm.
Um,
It's too
First of
high.
all, the enforcement of this is going to be almost impossible. But second of all, the internet in general has become an important outlet for kids who are marginalized to connect with like-minded kids. This has been especially true in the LGBTQ community, but also kids who are neurodivergent. Um, it's that aspect of it, I think, is going to end up doing some harm
Mm.
if this ever passes. Fortunately, it doesn't seem like the legislature ever passes anything. So maybe this will join the rest of the scrap heap bills.
Scott.
Yeah, no, I think that it's election year, right? This is a good issue for Healey to jump on. And I think parents are rightfully upset about it. I mean, I had kids who've gone, now they're in their late teens, early 20s, but it was like, didn't know what hit them, right? I mean, the things that I was worried about, like, they're going to be drinking or whatever, weren't the things that were actually people are getting involved with and potentially causing a lot of mental health damage. So I empathize with or sympathize with the motive here. Whether the Massachusetts legislature has a terrible track record of passing anything, so I doubt that it's hard to see that that would get through. But it's good to have a debate about it. I mean, it really is. It has really been a disruptive force for kids, but it also has been at the same time. I have another kid who met other kids, developed friendships, during COVID where you couldn't go anywhere. And so in that ways it's good. So there's got to be a ways of accentuating what's constructive and maybe putting a little damper or trying to put a damper on some of the more destructive elements of
But it just seems
social
to me that
media.
actually full-grown adults are the ones who have been more disturbed by it. I mean, I understand legislating for children, not adults, but all these wackos, that they get,
Yeah.
they follow through on all these conspiracy theories that they see online, and they
Oh, sure.
the pizza guy, and pedophile in a pizza parlor. I mean, people believe this, and it gets when I say there's no legislating spreading lies. It's
No,
legal.
you can't. And
President
but
does
you
it.
but minors are it's a different
I
category,
know, I
right? I
know.
mean, you parents do have some element of control or need to be able to guide them. And but yeah, it's a lot of adults go way off off the into the fringes, um you know following different influencers or getting involved with different groups that aren't good. um I don't know how you solve that, but it's sort of like the whole media world has been upended, right? Where anything gets published and we just live with it.
But let's not forget that Section 230 protects all internet publishers from any liability for anything that their
Section
users
230 of what?
post. Is Section 230 of the Telecommunications Act of 1996. I'm so glad you asked, Emily. And this is a powerful, powerful protection for these tech platforms.
Mhm.
And in return, we should demand, at the very least, that they use algorithms responsibly. I think that if you have tech platforms that are not going to use these algorithms responsibly, you could either modify or even remove the Section 230 protections that they currently have.